Why are we now only allowed to carry just over 3 ounces of liquid on a commercial flight? The terrorist plot involved using soft drinks filled with acetone peroxide and hydrogen peroxide, which would be colored with tang to resemble a normal soft drink. Once aboard, the hydrogen peroxide would be injected into the acetone peroxide, and then a trace amount of a high explosive hidden inside a AA battery casing would be used as the explosive charge to detonate the main bomb. This charge would itself be detonated by linking the bottle of explosives to a light bulb and a disposable camera, with the flash from the camera triggering the explosion. The blast would have been large enough to tear open the fuselage of the Boeing 777s and Airbus A330s being targeted, which would have been done while the plane was on approach and over a crowded city. This would have dropped the plane from the sky, killing over 300 passengers aboard, while causing untold devastation on the crowded cities below, potentially killing hundreds more. In total, it's believed that if the plot had been successful and all targeted planes downed, the total body count would have been far greater than even the 9/11 attacks. Immediately after the plot was discovered and dismantled, the British and American governments forbade passengers from bringing liquids on board an aircraft, with many recognizing that this was simply unfeasible to maintain long-term. Explosives and terrorism experts across America, Britain, and all the world began to test various liquid explosives in order to determine if any amount of liquid would be safe to allow back on a flight. At last, it was determined that 3.4 ounces of liquid represented the minimum risk to an aircraft or passengers, with a blast from this amount of explosive not being large enough to seriously damage an aircraft. While many claimed that terrorists could then simply bring aboard separate amounts of liquid explosives and combine them once airborne, it was determined by explosive experts that it would be impractical and not very realistic for the explosive liquids to be safely mixed into a working explosive compound. Rather, the terrorists would end up ruining the careful mix required or prematurely detonating a much smaller amount of the explosive, severely injuring themselves and doing little to no damage to the aircraft. No amount of regulation will ever be enough to keep you truly safe as you fly. Governments around the world do the best they can to help keep terror plots at bay and ensure you land safely at your destination, even if it seems arbitrary and like a huge inconvenience to you at the airport.